Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my literary club. Today I'm going to explain A Poison Tree by William Blake from Songs of Experience. So let's start with our poet's introduction. William Blake from 1757 to 1827 was an enigmatic English poet, painter, and printmaker, revered for his visionary and often mystical works that blurred the line between art and literature. A key figure of Romantic age, Blake's poetry, including famous collections of Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience, delves into the themes of spirituality, social justice, and human condition. His unique use of symbolism, vivid imagery, and unconventional ideas continues to resonate, cementing his legacy as a profound influence on both literature and arts. This poem, A Poison Tree, is a very short but powerful poem with a very powerful and deep message. This was published in 1794 in Songs of Experience. I have also explained some poems from Songs of Experience and Songs of Innocence on my YouTube channel. Also, I have um, detailed difference between Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience on my YouTube channel. If you want, you can check out. In this poem, Blake contrasts two ways of dealing with anger. Number one is openly expressing it, which leads to the resolution, and number two is suppressing it, which allow it to grow into something really dangerous. This poem uses simple language, vivid imagery, and allegory to convey a very deep moral lesson about resentment and grudges. So let's start our stanza number one of A Poison Tree. Now, this A Poison Tree is a tree of anger or a tree of resentment, or we can say a tree of grudges. So, stanza number one, I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. Now, the speaker describe his feeling of anger towards its friend, but he openly express it and the anger ends. Okay, the anger disappear. So he want to convey the idea that the honest communication can resolve the conflicts. I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow. Now he's giving contrasting an idea, and he's giving us another imagery, and he's saying that I was angry with my enemy and I suppress it, and instead of expressing it, so it leads to the anger to grow like seed that take roots. So we can see that repression leads to destruction. Okay, a very big destruction. Now here, the poet William Blake uses the metaphor of seed, that he's saying that rat did grew as the seed grew, so he's comparing rat with seed, so that's an example of metaphor. Metaphor is a direct comparison between two unrelated things, stating that one is another without using like or as. So he's comparing seed with rat with like two unrelated things. So that's an example of metaphor. And I watered it in fears. Now again, the metaphor continues of the seed, and he's saying that I watered my anger with fears, and instead of resolving it night and morning with my tears. Now this tears shows the emotional pain, the intensity of the anger inside him, and the emotional suffering that anger causes. Even the speaker, emotional suffering, and the anger is growing. And I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. Now we can see the speaker is pretending to be friendly, and he's hiding his true feeling behind the fake smiles. Okay, so we can see the theme of deception or manipulation or hypocrisy here, that many people keep inside their anger and grudges, and on their faces there's a very big smile. Okay, now we'll see that how this unexpressed emotion can turn into something very big and dangerous. Stanza number three, and it grew both day and night. Continuing the metaphor of tree, of seed, that it grew with time, so we can see that anger intensifies over time till it bore an apple bright. Now the anger matures into a very tempting fruit, apple. Now apple here is an allusion, because apple in the history of Bible or in Quran, both the apple is symbolized the deception or the danger. So here poet uses the literary device of allusion. Allusion is a literary device, a brief and indirect reference to a personal place, event, or literary work, often from history, mythology, religion, culture, without explaining it. Here, poet is giving us an illusion of the forbidden fruit of apple in Garden of Eden, and the word bright here makes it a more attractive for the viewers. And make apple more attractive. Now we can see that the anger turns into a fruit now, a tree, and then the tree bore a fruit. So it's a very big tree. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. Now we can see that even that enemy knew that the speaker is holding some grudges, but even the enemy did not try to resolve it. Okay, and he saw that tree, and he saw that apple, and the shining apple, and he was very mesmerized by its beauty. Now, this apple could mean any beautiful trap that a speaker set for his enemy, and the enemy is falling into that trap because he's getting attracted toward that apple or toward that trap. And into my garden stole when the night had veiled the pole. Now here pole is the North Star, and he's saying that the temptation was to the extent that enemy stole that apple into darkness in night, and now here night symbolize the mystery or danger or hidden intentions of the enemy. So enemy also have some kind of grudges, we can say, against him. So he did not try to resolve the speaker's grudges, and even he stole that fruit from his garden. He fell into the trap of the speaker. In the morning, glad I see my food outstretched beneath the tree. Now, due to that poisoned tree, due to that poisoned apple, the food died. Okay, and now here is the example of irony, a literary device. Irony is a literary device that shows the contrast between expectations and reality, often creating humor or highlighting deeper meaning. Here, the poet's gladness to see a very disturbing scene with satisfaction, the scene of death with happiness. That's an example of irony because we expect to see a dead body. We expect a person to be sad or to make a sorrowful face. Okay, but the speaker is happy, so that's expectation versus reality. That's opposite, so that's an example of irony. So this is the climax of the whole poem or climax of the story, and the consequences of that anger, the consequences of stealing that apple, and the consequences of eating that apple. And so this death of the enemy confirms the deadly results of the repressed anger and deceit and hypocrisy. This hypocrisy, and if we keep the anger inside us, it harm not just ourselves because it give us the emotional pain, and it also cause danger to the other people, to enemy and to other people. Okay, with this message our poem ends. These are some of the important themes of the poem. The consequences of repressed anger. We have discussed this in during the poem. The consequences for the speaker and the consequences for the enemy. There were consequences for the both people. Okay, deception and hypocrisy of the people who keep grudges inside them and make a very bright, smiley face to the other people. So that the example of hypocrisy, the theme of hypocrisy in the poem, the destructive nature of revenge. The revenge have this cause the person emotional pain and also to the enemy. So revenge, keeping it inside, cause destruction to everybody. The power of human emotion. The power of human emotion is to the extent that they could cause the death of the enemy, because we have discussed in the start of the poem that the speaker was angry with the friend, and he discussed, and his anger ended, his anger vanished. So the things are sometimes the things are so small that if we discussed, if we communicate, the anger ends. Okay, it vanishes. But if we keep the small things inside our heart, so it gave rise to a big tree, and then it bore a fruit, and dangerous tree, a poisonous tree and a poisonous fruit, and it could cause the death of the person and the death of the enemy. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. If you have any question regarding the explanation, you can ask in the comments below. Also, you can give your suggestion about next poem to explain in the comments. Please like and share the video and subscribe my channel. Also press the bell icon to get the notification of the next video.